Myself on wine, shine that light on me. I'll sit and tell you my stories. Shine on me, and I will find a song. I will sing it just for you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 8 of What Really Happened. I'm your host, Carter Hall. With me today, I have music producer Nick Doe, and I'd like to first off saying congratulations on getting that master's, man. We'll get into it, but yeah, man, how you going? Or how you doing? Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm doing good, man. Just steady grinding, same old every day, pretty much.
Oh, sweet, man. So, I'd like to first off ask, to let the audience know, who is Nick? Can you kind of explain who you are and what it is you do?
Oh man. Uh, I guess right now I'm just someone just making beats, man, trying to make good music. Climb the ranks in the music industry, I suppose. I don't know. It's nothing too crazy, I guess, man. This.
Yeah, man. We follow each other on Instagram, so I always see you kind of like posting some cool stuff on there. Like you're always out there making like it feels like new song after new song, and they're all bangers. So, can you kind of, yeah, man. So can you kind of tell me like, how'd you get into music producing initially, and kind of like
Mhm.
where you're at now, and what we expect next from you?
I want to say it was my sophomore year of college. Um, it's a very uneventful, I guess, story of how I got into it, but it was just one of those. I was listening to music and I was like, man, I really think I could do that kind of deal. So I just downloaded FL Studio and then just started watching YouTube tutorials really, and then I didn't really work with anybody until I felt like I was ready. So that alone took probably 2 years, and then um, my first placement was with Blue Bucks Clan, and it was pocket watching. They, it was kind of perfect timing because you know they were on their way up, blown up. So I kind of caught them at a good time where it was realistic to reach out to them and um,
Yeah.
or to work with them because my volunteer coach back when I ran track at Wichita State, Corey, that's how I got connected with him. When he moved back to LA,
Yeah.
him and his friend Austin, they opened up a studio called Volume One, and people just started coming to the studio, and they reached out to me and see if I wanted to be part of the team, as a producer, and I said of course. Yeah, and then Blue Bucks Clan pulled up to the studio. They made Pocket Watching, and really from there is when I started getting linked in with the West Coast rap scene, I guess.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so after them, then I work with AZ Sway, and then now I'm working with Joey Fats pretty close and pretty frequently.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're working on him and A Reese are doing a collab mixtape right now, so that's kind of what we're working on.
That's pretty cool, man. So you kind of explained how you took you like, about 2 years to start working with people. Now
Hmm.
you're working with all these, like you said, all these different artists. You're making all these. I'm sorry, my bad. That's on me.
That's all good.
So you said you're kind of making all these, mixtapes now, and all of these people, up and coming people, or people who made it now. So can you kind of explain, like, at least to me a little bit, because I'm not so music savvy or anything like that.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain to people like me or the audience what was it like, kind of, we actually started working with these people, what it was like, maybe behind the scenes, what it was like working with them. How is it like, just going from, you said, working 2 years with nobody to working with somebody. What was that like
Hmm.
for you?
I'll say it's a definitely like for a producer a very eye-opening experience because as I said, I was just making beats for 2 years or so, and no one's rapped over them, and it's kind of almost disheartening a little bit. You're just like
Yeah.
you're just making beats for no reason at that point other than just practice, and then hearing them rap over your beat is it's honestly crazy. Like
Yeah.
it's a crazy experience. It's weird. It feels weird more than anything. Yeah, so I guess right now working with them, I live in Amarillo, so I'm not frequently flying back and forth to LA or anything. So it's really just through I just text them beats and
Hmm.
they get it. They'll either send it back, or if they use anything, they send it back to me and I get to hear it. And then, if it's good enough to get on the project, then I find out when, it's about to come out pretty much.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. So what was it like hearing that first song that you produced and someone's rapping over it? What was it like that first time hearing it?
Yeah. Honestly, for me, I don't know. I just felt like I wasn't good enough, I guess, at the moment for someone to just pick my beat like that. You know what I mean? Honestly,
Yeah.
that was weird to me that, people were responding well to what I was doing.
Yeah.
So it's trippy, like for sure. And even recently, with that Joey Fats and A Reese track we just did, that's the first time that people on YouTube were making like reaction videos to it and stuff. And
Wow.
I was like, that's like weird to me because I'm not used to seeing people outside of my peer group, listening to my stuff and reacting to it, like me visually seeing it. So
Yeah.
that's like the trippiest feeling.
Yeah. So there's that response that was over time. You think that's something that has always been stuck out to you probably over time?
Yeah, I'm just hoping, we keep getting those positive responses and stuff in the future and, on a bigger scale because it is like a motivational factor for sure. Like it makes you feel like, all right, people are liking what I'm doing and um, responding well to it. So you just want to keep, making the best music you can, get better
Yeah.
with it. So,
That's pretty cool, man. So, um, where do you, so for you personally, you kind of like, where do you draw inspiration? Do you find it from other artists, like other producers or
hmm
lyricists or artists? Where do you draw your inspiration from when you're about to make a new song? Where do you find your motivation? Do you just like listen to like a song, or how do you go about your inspirations?
yeah, so it definitely depends who I'm working with. So, for example, like Joey, um, he was really, I guess my inspiration for the Joey is more of like an old West Coast vibe, more of a classic, with the rim and all the
Mhm.
leads and stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know, uh, like DJ Quake, even a little bit of Cardo, like I'll listen to them and, figure out what they're doing. And like even Blast, like even though Blast is, new, but his
Hmm.
style is like a nostalgic R&B, like West Coast kind of vibe. And then, when I'm doing like trap beats, I don't know, like I'll just listen to, what songs are popping right now and just beats that I connect with, I guess, and just kind of try to learn. Like that's what I do is like I try to
Yeah.
learn. I keep trying to learn every day. You can never know too much. So, you pick up these little techniques here and there, and then you try to incorporate it into your own beats.
Hmm. So, you say you kind of do like a West Coast kind of vibe with music, and you also do trap. But how would you overall describe your music producing? Like, how would you describe your music if you're like someone came to you new, like, oh, I found this new song by Nick. How would you describe your music style?
Right now, it's gonna be, just because that's the demand of the people I'm working with is just, I guess, this West Coast, like
Hmm.
that West Coast sound. I don't know because it is weird. Like even though I'm doing West Coast, there's still different type of like West Coast type vibes,
Yeah.
type of the beat. So like I'm honestly kind of all over the place a little bit with that. Like you know, the song I did with Blue Bucks Clan is drastically different than the one
Yeah.
I did with like AZ Sway, and the one I do with Joey is drastically different than the others. So I don't think I have like like a signature sound yet. That's something I want to keep searching for, but.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess this West Coast music right now is like the only way I could describe it simply.
That's pretty dope, man. So when I think of like I don't know, just it just may be just me personally, but when I think of West Coast music or hip hop especially, what you're into, I think of like I don't know why. I think like maybe it's me being old minded. I think of like old rappers such as like Ice Cube, all these people who came out of the West and really made an
Yeah.
impact and stuff like that into this world of hip hop. Do you go back to any of those artists too, like for just like that kind of help relate, I guess, to your music as well, or do you just like, oh, maybe I want to go just my way, maybe go my way a little bit, or how's
hmm
that? Is that kind of you go back to you? How am I trying to ask this? Is that how you go back, like, and record, like, maybe if I do it this way, I can maybe pay homage, but this way or not? Like,
hmm
is that how you go back to when you go record?
I'll say when I'm looking back for West Coast, because I'm honestly, like, I'm still, to me, pretty new to the West Coast rap production, because when I started, it was just trap beats. But I want to say melodically, like when I'm doing melodies and like chord progressions and stuff, like leads, I definitely will look back to, that classic West Coast sound that everybody loves. I try to just learn from that. But with the drums, I want to say my drums are current, or I don't know, modern, just a modern drum sound, but like the melodies and stuff for sure, because I don't know what it is, but like that classic West Coast sound is just like a rich, like luxurious, sound. So I try to incorporate that.
So that's pretty cool. So, um, when you're, I know for every producer, I imagine it's different. But when you make a song, you said you like drums and every part that make the song what it is.
hmm
What's your probably when you're making a West Coast or even a trap song, what's your favorite go-to instrument you put in first? Is there a specific order you like to put in first, or like 808s or drums, or is
hmm
there a different melody that you think of and you're like, oh, I need to put this in first, or how's that go about for you?
Uh, I want to say a lot of the times I'm starting out with a chord progression because it really is like the foundation of the entire track.
Hmm.
Once you've got a solid chord progression, then your bass line becomes easier. The leads come easy. Like, because I think I start in the melody wise, it'll just be chords, maybe some background filler. So like Rhodes or like a Rhodes piano or electric piano just to beef up the sound. Then I'll do the lead for like the hook and then add just little accents, little stabs, just to keep things interesting. Then I'll move on to the drums, and that's usually, the clap, the
Yeah.
snare, the rim, like that will go first, and then hi-hats, and then you want to put your bass on in, and then your kick, because like the kick is like the accent of the bass, pretty much. Like
Yeah.
you want the bass hitting, but then once you go progress throughout the beat, then the kick comes in to support the bass,
Yeah.
just to add that extra hit. Yeah, and then I just arrange it, put my tag on there, little transition effects. That's usually the way it happens, but
That's pretty cool, man. I never really, like I said, I'm not a music producer
mhm.
person. I'm always fascinated by it, but I've never had
Yeah.
the talent for it. So just hearing you talk about it's so cool. Like it feels like you sound like it's so easy. But if I was, but if I were to go to an FL Studio, like I'd get so lost. Like I've looked at it a couple of times, I get so lost. But you just make it sound
Yeah.
so easy and everything like that. So, um, was FL Studio like you said? Is that something you started out on, right?
Yeah, that is like, because I've noticed when I started like looking into how to make beats, I
Mhm.
noticed all these big producers, like all of them are using FL Studio, especially in hip hop, like
Yeah.
and especially in trap too. Like trap, everybody's using FL Studio. Um, I was like, all right, I guess I might as well start with that since that's what everyone else is using
Yeah.
for hip hop. And then yeah, I just downloaded it, and it at first it is very intimidating because like there's all these different screens and buttons and like the mixer track, like you don't know really what anything is, and you can get lost.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
just
me.
looking through it. But once you learn how to navigate through it, it becomes like a muscle memory almost going
Yeah.
through it, like it's a routine. So yeah, FL Studio is what I started with, and I'm gonna stick with that to the end probably.
That's pretty
That's
cool,
my
man.
team right there, FL Gang for sure.
That's sweet. So, um, why can you kind of take me through it? Like, why do you think, if it is, why do you think music is so important in this day of age? Like, what about music do you think people love so much, like in our generation?
hmm Uh, Dang, that's like super complex. I think I'll just start out by saying I think music has become more accessible than ever.
Yeah.
All of us, a lot of people just, you can go on YouTube too or SoundCloud. It's just, you could stream any song you want pretty much. at your fingertips. So it's become more of a part of our life, I think, just because it's so easy and
Yeah,
like to get. But I guess in general, though, from the beginning of time, like just music, I don't know, it can enhance your emotions. Like it can act as a timestamp, really, for a period in your life. That
hmm
when you listen to a song that you listened to when you were like 8 years old, like you feel like you're back there, back when you're eight again. But I don't know, like it's one of those things that it's in human nature, I guess. Like,
for sure. I
yeah.
have, yeah, I totally have one of those. I have a lot of those memories too, man. So it's like just the other day, I was listening to what was it? The Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony. That came on like randomly on Spotify. I was like, that took me back to when I was a little kid, like back in the early 2000s. I was like, man, I remember this
Hmm.
song, how big it was back then, and all these floods of memories came back. I'm like, man, I need to go back and start listening to these old songs again. It's just like you said, it's kind of like a time lapse a little bit. Like it just takes it back in, for me at least. Like, I don't know about you, but it takes me back in time a little bit and has that
Hmm.
nostalgia feeling to it. So that's what I love about music is like it could take you to make you feel anything or take you back to that one memory. That's what I love about it too. That's I think always been pretty cool.
Yeah, like Good Kid, Mad City, that album by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Like every time I listen to it, man, I'm like back in high school, and it's like it feels so fresh. Like it was like I feel like
Yeah.
I'm in that moment again. And it's crazy, but yeah, it's powerful, man. Music's a powerful thing for sure.
Yeah, man, it's kind of funny you bring up Good Kid, Mad City because I have that album back on. I'm in my room and I have it on vinyl, and I was just listening to it the other day. And I
Good
had the
stuff, man.
recipe. Yeah, I had the recipe playing. I don't know if you remember that song at all. And I was listening to it the other day. I was like, man, I love this song. I remember every time I hear it, it's like hearing it for the first time. I think I don't know
Hmm.
why that song especially. I don't know why. I love that. Man, I love the whole album. Don't get me wrong. Kendrick, I think, is like a
Yeah.
genius when it comes to just writing songs lyrically. He's like a one of those people who can just poetically put a song together and just make it, master everything he puts his mind
Yeah.
to.
That's for sure my favorite like rap album of all time. That like I don't have any vinyl, but that is the first one I'm buying, like for sure.
Yeah, man, I totally recommend it being a good first album vinyl to get because that's one of my first ones I got too. It's like my
Hmm.
second or third album vinyl I ever got. The second one I ever got, I bought them at the same time I believe down in Austin at this record shop. It was I got Good Kid, Mad City, and I also got 2014 Forest Hill Drives by J. Cole.
Hmm.
So
All
I
good
those two
choices, man.
I know. So those are the first two I saw. I'm like, if I'm gonna get any good like first rap albums, those are the first two that came to mind. Because I don't think you're more than welcome to disagree with this, but I think J. Cole and Kendrick are I think the first two I think rappers, last great rappers of maybe generation. Maybe there's up and coming ones. Don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but I think people are going to look at like, oh man, the way that people look at Biggie and Tupac, I think we're going to look at J. Cole and Kendrick. I think in some way or close to it.
Exactly. Yeah. I believe that 100% too. Like I guess for like in that debate, I'm sure every time it's gonna be Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake, like every single
Yeah,
time, like for sure, and rightfully so, man. Like,
yeah. For sure. So, if you were to build your Mount Rushmore of artists right now, past or present, who would they be?
oh man,
Kind of put you on the
oh
spot a
that's
little bit. I'm
tough.
sorry.
Okay, I don't care what anyone says. Like, I'm just gonna say Drake first because that's the first artist that I started
Yeah.
like following their career, and like that's how I got into like really got into music, started caring
Yeah.
about it on that level. So I'll put Drake, uh, Frank Ocean.
Another great choice.
That's my dog right there. Dang, The Weeknd.
Oh, he's a beast, dude.
Yeah, this is a lot harder than I thought. Kendrick, of course.
Yeah.
Hmm. This is so yeah, man.
So,
That is tough.
what was the first Drake album that you remember listening to that really like touched you? You think like not touched you, but, like really inspired you? What was the first Drake album you think that came to mind? That comes to mind?
Yeah. I think it was like Thank Me Later.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
what a
that was
great
like
album.
the. That's like, cause me and my brother Tim, we would just play like Call of Duty all day or something while it was after school or something, and he would always just have Drake playing in the background, like all his stuff. Like I didn't even know what the song name was or like
Yeah.
what album it came from, but yeah, like that. That's I think just how I got into it, like following his career, because like my brother would always play it in the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, Thank Me Later, I guess, for like an album piece, but for sure, just I'm sure there were songs that came out before then from his, his mixtapes or something that was playing in the background. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I think Thank Me Later, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm thinking about the right album, that came out when I was in like middle school, and I remember my favorite song that I remember that I can remember like thinking about.
hmm
I love that Drake. I love Drake. That got me onto Drake was Over. So that's
oh
the first song
yeah,
that came to mind. I don't know why. I was like, man, who is this guy? That I really like this song, this guy. Like one of my friends at the middle school was like, yo, that's Drake. Dude, you never heard of him? I was like, no. And then he's like, yeah, dude, he's already popping off. He's gonna be something bigger one day. Little do we know, years later, fast forward, he's just won, I think, what was it, like Artist of the Decade or Year or something
yeah,
like that. He's like crazy something. He's really gone something like above and beyond what I ever thought not in a bad way, but he's gone
yeah,
way faster than I thought he ever could, back from when I was in middle school.
yeah. He really is just he is like the biggest artist really of all time. Like if we think about it, like it's crazy that he's like, we were listening back then, but like little did we know, like he is gonna be that one. Like he's the,
Yeah.
the chosen one, I guess, when it comes to the music game. But yeah, that dude's been tearing it up. Like he's had the longest run, consistent
Yeah.
run for that I've seen.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember when I think I was in maybe high school, beginning high school, maybe somewhere in the middle of high school, I believe Take Care came out. And I have
Oh
that album
yeah,
on vinyl too. And man, that was my favorite. I think one of my favorite, Thank Me Later was a good album. And then, Nothing Was the Same. And then, Take Care, my probably top three Drake albums of all time, probably.
yeah, just like a masterpiece, man. Like Take Care is gonna just that's like in the rap Hall of Fame if they're like if I were to debate that like
Sure.
that's gonna be something like a classic forever.
Yeah. So, kind of moving on a little bit. So can you kind of tell me when did you realize that, music producing was the route for you that you decided, okay, this is my route to go down?
hmm Uh, I want to say once I started seeing any bit of success from it, like I
Hmm.
started checking out like with pocket watching, that was like my first placement and all that, but it's also my biggest one right now. Like it's still my biggest one. I was like after that and just getting communicating with the rappers and stuff, like just texting them,
Yeah.
sending them beats and stuff. I'm like, this sounds like a pretty a fun living for real. Like if I were to choose anything like this, I would not mind putting all my effort into it, all my time. So, that's the goal right now is just transitioning from, just the normal life and then hopefully just be able to do music full time whenever that time comes. But yeah, like that
Yeah.
once I felt like I was in the scene, like a part of it, I think
Yeah.
that's like where I was like, all right.
That's pretty dope. So what advice would you give anybody, especially younger people who are thinking about getting into the, like, I guess, music producing game? What advice would you give those people or anybody, especially younger people?
Uh, so I guess I'll just do like a two-part or split up in multiple answers. But first is, always stay curious and, always try to learn and study, like really just sit down and study. Like with FL, you can just, take an audio file from a song and you can legit just see what they did and try to replicate it, you know, because you'll pick up on this common themes in the music that you'll
Yeah.
try to apply to your own music. So always stay curious about what's going on and always try to study. And then um the base requirement to make it, I guess, is of course make good music, like perfect your craft or always try to perfect it. And after that you need to work on your relationships. You gotta it is like the music business is just straight up relationships. Like that's how you're gonna stay or last long because
Yeah.
you can get that placement, from putting a tight beat on YouTube or something. You could win the lottery that way, but if you want to really, last and like people remember your name, is like you've got to make those relationships, stay connected with them, like make them know who you are, like as a view them or have them view you as a peer, someone they can reach out to when they, I'm at the studio, I need beats, like they're gonna text you. Um, and even uh, find an artist, I don't know, in your local, your town or something, and just tap in and just grind out a whole project or something and try to make as much music as you can with them. Because I don't know, it's good practice, and there's a chance that they could start blowing up, and you're going to be a contributing factor to that. So once they see that, oh, so and so produced this whole tape for somebody, he's like, I want his beats too, because like he's doing a good job, he's bringing the best out of the people around him. So yeah, it's just stay studying, stay curious, and then work on your relationship building, because just like any business and ever, like it's all about relationships really.
So that's pretty cool. So just like building those relationships and networking are probably the biggest things for people getting into this music world would be for them to learn.
Yeah, like that's how you stay, I guess. That's how you stick around. And it's funny. It's like in the rap game, like it's not it's not as big as you think, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody knows somebody. So let's say you get a placement with so and so, they know four other rappers, and they're like, hey, who made those beats? Like, can they send them to me? Like, let's work. So like, if you meet somebody, like everybody knows somebody, like pretty much.
So that's pretty awesome that you're giving that advice. That's pretty cool. Next time we'll kind of want to learn or know what's next for Nick. Like what's on the horizon for you, like producing wise.
Man, that's always tough because, of course I want to stay making the West Coast music, but I do want to get back into my roots a little bit with, the trap stuff. So hopefully, we can just make solid relationships with people in, I guess, Atlanta or just Florida, even Dallas, like that whole Texas scene. But really, yeah, I want to definitely branch out to more of the trap music for sure, because, that's like my first love, I guess, when it comes to production. So,
Oh, sweet. So, you don't have to say anything now, but are we looking for any? Is there any mixtapes or any new singles you're going to drop soon that we can look forward to?
uh,
Possibly.
they're in the works. I don't know if I'm allowed to like say it or not, but
Okay, we don't have to. We don't have to get you in
yeah,
trouble, something like that. But I just don't know
yeah.
if there's anything because I've been listening to your last single, man, on by Joey on repeat. I have it on my playlist. I listen to it all the time. So
I appreciate that for
yeah,
real.
man. So how has this music producing journey, like, how has it defined you or helped you as a person, overall person?
Hmm. I want to say just having, I guess, the discipline to just stick with something, because, usually when you start something new, like whatever, a new hobby or a new, I don't know, something you have to learn,
Yeah,
people, get fired up about it, and then for the next like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they're all for it, and then they just quit, and then they never see it through. So I guess it's sticking it out and trying to learn everything you can and trying to get good at that one thing. I think it really like is a testament, I guess,
yeah,
that if you just find something you're interested into and just don't give up on it, um,
sure.
I guess that perspective has helped me as a person. So yeah,
Oh, that's well worded, man. So that's pretty cool. So, as I kind of mentioned to earlier, um, I think you could probably help tell the audience a little bit more. You got your master's degree just a few weeks back, which I want to congratulate you on again. This is
yeah,
pretty
thank
cool.
you, man. Yeah,
So, um, what did you get your master's in for the people listening and watching?
I got my master's in business administration.
Oh, cool. So, um, how was that always a part of the process for you, or was that something that kind of came in later, or what was that for you? What was part of the process for you?
Uh, Not at first, because I was like, when I was in college, I was like, I'm just, get my bachelor's and go find a job immediately. But at that point, I was still learning how to make beats. I think I was like it wasn't until my senior year, honestly, where
Wow.
I guess I'm gonna apply for the master's program. Um, yeah, I was like, I don't know, it was that last year. I was like, I'm not really ready to go out into the real world, I guess, and I'm not sure like job wise what I want to do, and
Mhm.
I still want to keep making beats and stuff as much as I am. So yeah, that was it, man. I was like, I was like
Yeah,
last second kind of thing. I didn't apply till like spring semester of my senior year
yeah.
for all that.
So, was there anybody out there who helped you grind it out academically? Who were there like, was there any mentors for you, or anybody even in the like students in the classroom or teachers that like who helped you along the way through your masters?
Uh, I'll say through not so much just like a daily basis of my academics, but just as being a student and figuring out what I would want to do. Um, Definitely during my undergrad, Dr. King, he was my advisor and my professor in some of my classes. He's who I'd stayed in contact the most with and communicate whenever I had something going on that I wasn't sure about or just had a question or what do I do next or how do I do this. Um, definitely the guy that helped me a lot during the college career.
Oh, sweet. So, he's one who kind of like helped you a little bit more when like along the way too.
Yeah, that's definitely like he helped me like even deciding when I was last second. I was like, hey, I need to try to get my master's. He helped me through that process. Like I would go to his office and he would say, you need this, you need that. I'll help you with this and this, stuff like that. Even when it came to just questions I had about, internships or anything like that, he was always just very helpful and, he's like, hey, I'll write you a letter of recommendation if you need one kind of thing. So
Oh, awesome.
he always went to bat for me, I guess, when I needed something.
Yeah, it's always cool to have those people around too, because I've been lucky enough to have those people.
Hmm.
I'm a senior. I'm about to get my bachelor's hopefully in a year, and it's always cool. I've been like debating. I was just saying this earlier. I've been debating going to get my master's too. I'm on the fence of going that route.
Yeah,
So it was pretty cool, have those people around to talk to you, like what to expect, and what to, this is going. They're like, kind of have those people like, yeah, this is what's going to happen, and kind of thing. It's always cool to have those people in your corner.
exactly. Because there's a lot of stuff that, most students just have no idea. Like, oh, I needed to take this, or let's say, uh, you know, for the business degree or for a master's, you usually have to take the GMAT, and that's something you need to study for, quite some time. Like, you're just not gonna walk in and take it unless you're just some super genius. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's just stuff like that. Like, you just have no idea really about it until it's too late. So, it's good to have those. And especially in college, just find a professor that, you connect with and, you feel comfortable on talking to just about that stuff. And
hmm
yeah, because they want to see you succeed, man. Like
sure.
they, especially like, King, like outside of just academics, like he wanted to see you succeed, like in life in general. So,
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, um, you said you got your master's, and so kind of what was that, when you got your master's, why was that area of study like so important? I guess it's not important, but why did it intrigue you? I guess for like what, I guess to make it sound better, why did it intrigue you, that area of study particularly?
uh, I guess just because it's so versatile, like really almost everything is a business. So, why not learn as much as you can about it and even just managing, like, um, you're gonna have to manage a lot of people, even if your a title isn't manager, like you're gonna have to, look over people and like lead people in certain situations in your life. So, um, I mean, it's just good to know, like, and to get that insight rather than getting thrown in the wolves, when it comes
Sure.
time and you don't know what you're doing really, or you don't know really what's what, or so I think that pretty much I was like, it just made the most sense at the time.
For sure, dude. So, where where do you see yourself going next academically? Is a PhD next, you think, or anything
Oh
at all?
no, no, I think my education career is I'm retired from that now.
it's time to get that next what's the music award? Grammy next.
Yeah,
That
we're
next,
trying.
next
Yeah, we're trying to get some Grammys now. Yeah, I don't see myself ever really going back.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely just let's try to get some plaques and some awards.
Yeah, get some pretty dope and shiny plaques next to put your but next to your masters or anything, your bachelors.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's always been pretty cool because they're not on the top of my head. There's not that many people like in the world of music who have their degrees or bachelors, or even their little less their masters. So it's pretty cool. I don't know if you ever thought about it this way. I think I was thinking about this when I was thinking about my questions to ask you. I think you're kind of like, in a way, could be that inspiration for younger people who are like, oh man, Nick is, he's got his master's degree. So there's, I thought that was pretty cool, that there's not too many people out there in the world of music who have their bachelor's, little less their master's degree. So
hmm
I thought that was always pretty interesting.
Yeah, I guess in my mindset, there's no telling how long, this journey of chasing your dream is going to take. Um, and in my view, I was like, I'd rather chase it it's easier to chase your dream and you have like stability around you rather than, um, everyone got bills to pay and stuff. Like you got stuff to take care of in your life. Like you have responsibilities and stuff. So I think that's a lot of it too. My perspective on why kept going with the education is like, I'd rather have the most stable, backing that I can to support what I want, I guess, for my dream. So yeah, I mean, that's what I like always thought about doing. I was like, it's easier to chase it, it's harder to chase your dreams when you're broke, I guess.
Yeah, for sure,
Like,
man. Like I always say, like there's this quote I always like saying. It's if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together, kind of things. That's always when I thought about it. It's like I try to be as stable as possible, bring as many
mhm,
people together. So
exactly.
if there's any, if the people out there that kind of debating whether college is for them or not, what advice would you give those people?
Uh, I don't know. It really just depends because what you want to do. Because I'm not gonna sit here and say that just because you get a college education that you're guaranteed the world. But
For sure.
sometimes going to trade school, I've seen people go to trade school and then they come out making a very good living.
Yeah.
It really just depends what your personal like ambitions are and like what you see yourself doing. If you want to be a nurse, like there's really no way around it. Like you
Go
gotta go
to
to
it.
school.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess just in general, if you're just a position in your life where you don't see yourself, like let's say you're at a job that it really just stops there, like you've reached the peak of where you can get at. Um, just think about, it's gonna take time. Like you've got to sacrifice that time
Mhm.
to go to school, and it's gonna
Yeah.
take some effort. But I've seen people that are like, "Oh, I don't want to go to school because it's gonna take me 4 years," and then 4 years later, they're still in the same spot that they were in when they said that. So,
Yeah, for sure.
think of it as an investment in yourself that I'm gonna, spend this time to do that, but it's gonna pay off. Like now I can get this, this promotion, or now I can get, the job that you were wanting. So, I
Mhm.
mean, that should be a, pretty good motivational factor that it's just investing in yourself, really.
Yeah, sorry, man. That's really great. I think really cool advice that you're giving. So, kind of back to music a little bit now. Where can people, or even if there's any, well, artists out there who happen to be listening, or just anybody in general, where can people find your music at, or maybe find like reach you for your social networks who could potentially want to collaborate with you?
Yeah, so I mean, really, all the music is really never under my name because, like, I mean, if you go on YouTube, it'll say produced by whatever. You go to the song credits on Spotify, produced by Nick Dow or whatever. But um, I guess for social media, just my handle's Nick Dow, and then I just put like an abbreviation for producers, so just prod, I guess, so Nick Dow prod. But
Yeah.
you can find me on that. I think that's my Twitter too, but. Yeah, I guess it's a lot harder to find me on Spotify because like it's not really like it's not my name, but
Yeah.
uh, pocket watching, where you at, all that. So just find Joey Fats and Blue Bucks Clan. You might find a song in there that's produced by me. You can hear my tag, I guess.
Yeah, man. Like you said, everybody go listen, and you'll probably hear Nick out there listening, jam out to some of his tunes and songs that he's produced. But what's been, for you personally, what's been your favorite? Not to like say like each like there's a particular song that's your favorite, but what was your favorite? I guess one of your favorites, I guess, to produce and make, like just making the beat for it. What was one of your favorite ones that comes to mind?
Oh man, let me think on that one.
I don't know.
Probably Where You At, like that most recent one. I enjoyed making it the most because um when I was making it, I was at my friend's house and he has like subs in his living room, so it was like this loud, you could feel the rumble on that. But I just thought it was cool that I had my friends around me watching me make the beat and then actually see it from start to finish of, all right, they saw me make the beat and then now it's released with Joey and A. Reese. So like they kind of got to see the beginning to the end process of it. So I think to me that was just like a fun experience, like just to share that with my friends and all that.
That's pretty cool. So, how did it feel knowing, like, when, like, from you said start to finish, there were friends there and everything like that? So, how did it feel knowing that it got picked up and there's people listening to it and everything like that? How did that make you feel, like, afterwards, after the fact, after the project was
Yeah,
over?
I'm just glad it was like that beat because like it just
Yeah,
made me feel, it's just more of a cool experience for me. Just as like I said earlier, because like people got to, my friends that I care about, like they got to witness the whole process. So it meant more, I guess, to
yeah.
me. But and just with A Reese too, that fan base that he has like blew me away. Like I had no idea. Like uh, yeah, South Africa. Shout out to South Africa, man, because like that
Shout out.
that fan base is incredible. Like really, that's like the response that I got from them and like the love and support they all showed was I never like received that ever in my
Yeah,
like production career so far. So
that's
yeah,
pretty
that was special. Like I did not anticipate that at all.
cool. That's pretty awesome, that you get all that, like, that recognition, for your music and stuff like that. So the next question I want to ask is kind of a corny one, maybe, or kind of a simple one.
Hmm.
But why should people listen or want to listen to your music?
Oh dang. Uh, I'm just gonna say, I mean, no one really has to listen, but if it's something that they really enjoy and like vibe with, I hope, just as Good Kid, Mad City is to us, like, like a timestamp. I hope, one of those songs could also be that for them, or it's a body of work. But I mean, you could, listen to whoever you want to at the end of the day, man. Like, it's just music. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do, you do. Like, so
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I don't
that's
have I
pretty.
don't have a strong case to be like, hey, you should go listen to me. But
Yeah, man, so that's pretty cool. So, um, where do you see yourself taking this rap game as a producer?
yeah, so the end game, man, is like I want to be, those Metro Boomin or Murda Beats or Southside. Like, I want to be on that caliber to where not even on the degree of just like, oh, I want all this money or whatever. It's like I want to just be able to work with whoever I want, whenever, like like I want it to just be accessible. Like if I want to do something to work with whoever, like I can. Um, I can make collab albums with, a rapper that I really like. Just to, I
Hmm.
guess, just to have as much access and reach as I can. I think that is like my goal.
Oh, that's sweet. So, do you see yourself becoming like more of a like an independent artist, or maybe starting or a producer, I guess, or like Russ, for example, or
Hmm.
that route, or do you see yourself like maybe starting your own label or getting signed to a label? Like, was those some of your goals or aspirations, or have you thought that far into the future yet, or
Yeah,
just
yeah,
some?
definitely. Um, it's tough, man, because let's say, for producers, we usually sign publishing deals.
Yeah,
And, after, let's say, 2 years from now or a year from now, I've gotten these, big placements with artists and stuff,
Mhm.
and a label comes knocking down, and is like, hey, like, we'll give you a publishing deal for like, I don't know, $1 million or something. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna act in that situation, to be honest. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
So
guess,
funny.
I mean, if it's
Just kidding.
working where I'm making, a good living and I'm getting all the connections that I need, just doing it on my own, not signing to anybody, then
Yeah.
there's really no reason for me to do it. But I don't know, like that I'm gonna have to cross that bridge when I get there, really. But I mean, it definitely is the goal to be on that level to just even get contacted by like
Yeah.
major labels or major producers, because I know I do want to like do joint projects. Like I do want to, like not Murder Beats, Metro Boomin and 21 Savage, they do like collab projects together, and like it's
Oh yeah.
both of their names. Like that's what I want to do too. So I mean, if that's only realistic through a label, then so be it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely, in the perspective of my own career, I would definitely want to view myself more as an artist than just like a guy who makes beats. Like
Yeah.
I want it to be like a household name.
For sure. That'd be pretty cool. Do you like in the future, like who do you see yourself like? Is there like you said 21 Sat like all those people? Who do you see yourself? Who are some artists that you would like to like maybe produce for or
Hmm.
produce with, or who are those some of those people artists you like? Who could you see yourself like writing a song for? You know, not
Yeah,
writing,
yeah,
like being on your song. Who could you see yourself being like helping with, working with?
yeah. So I mean, just to begin with, like definitely my bucket list of a rapper for sure. Like Polo G, I want a project with him so, or not a project, but just like a song with him so bad. Like,
Yeah.
um, if by somehow the stars align, Drake, of course. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if I want to make more of that trap stuff or more more mainstream drums and all that, um, dang, 21 Savage, of course.
Yeah.
Rod Wave,
Oh yeah.
dang, this is hard, man. Like, it's hard because because I would love to work with just like a lot of people that are on
Yeah.
that level. Does like if I don't know, it could be just random people I never even thought about that. They're like, hey, let's do a song together or something. You're
Sure.
like, all right, like that's awesome, like let's do it. Like Playboy Cardi, I don't know, or something like could just be like, hey, like that situation could be there. Like of course, like I would want to pursue that. But yeah, I would just say like for sure, Polo G is like the number one guy I want to get a song with.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool, man. So as we kind of like start to like wrap up and wind down here, is there anything that you like to bring up? Maybe we didn't cover, or maybe special shout outs to anyone that you'd like to bring up right now, or no?
I'll just say, shout out to Volume One, and that's like my team out in LA, and that's Corey and Austin. Like really, without that whole situation happening, especially because I mean that's where the Blue Bucks clan session happened too. I mean, really, without all that happening, like I wouldn't be like in the position I am right now, I guess, or it
Yeah.
would just look very different. So definitely shout out to them, and shout out to all my friends, of course, for like always being very supportive. Because telling someone, "Oh, I want to make beats for a living" or something, it's almost just like saying some local rapper from Amarillo is like, "I want to be a rapper," and
Yeah.
it's almost like the same thing. But they've been very supportive and like always told me if they liked it or not, or put it, they put my songs that I produce on their playlist and share it with their friends. So yeah, like I'm definitely just grateful for really anyone that has been supportive throughout the whole process, because things are starting to get very realistic, I guess. It's not it's not so much just a simple dream that I had a couple years ago, like, oh, it'd be cool to work with people. Like it's like I almost feel like I'm just I'm getting close, but
Yeah.
like we're not there yet, of course,
Right.
but we're getting closer every day, it seems like.
Yeah. It's like always, it's like what Nipsey Hussle always said is, the marathon continues, it's always part of the process for sure, man.
Exactly. That's a legend
Well,
right there.
for sure, man. It's one of my favorites too, man. I always go to, but thanks, man. So thank you, Nick, for coming on, and I had a lot of fun. So I can't wait for any new projects you come out with, and I'm always going to be listening to it, man. So thank you for coming on the show, man. I had a lot of fun.
Yes, sir, man. Like, thanks for having me, for real.
So thank you to everybody who's listening and came in, and hopefully you had some fun with this podcast because I did. So hopefully Nick did too. But thank you, Nick, for coming back on, and yeah, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll see you, dog.
See you, man. Hey, did you like watching that last episode of What Really Happened? If so, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more content on this channel.